along with Not So Perfect Parenting. And I am coming to you all today because I am doing another live. I will be on live every day until the end of the year. So today's live, we were going to talk about parent not parent crime stories, but parent horror stories. Like I told y'all yesterday, of that mom who let her kid go to somebody's house that had already, he already was strike three with me. He would, my kids would be over there play dating. I would have had them make up with the boy, but y'all go back and watch that live. I actually, it was private, so I'm gonna go ahead and release it. So make sure y'all jump on that live and see that. But tonight, I was actually going to talk about another story like that, but I can't remember who the content creator was, but he posted a video, and of course it was on YouTube, so he couldn't show like everything that was going on. But this video was horrific. So I want to get on here and I want to talk to the parents to see what we can do as a community to stop all this violence, to stop the kids from beating each other up, from stopping the kids from fighting. Like, what is it that we can do? We are all outraged. We all post videos and we say things and all of that, but what can we do as a community to get these kids back focused? I remember when I was younger and we used to fight and stuff, but it was not like this that I remember. And I grew up in a small town. I grew up, it was kind of country for real. My graduating class was only 24 people. So it was very, very small. The whole entire school probably had between 200 to 215 people in it. That's how small my school was. And we had three schools in our district: a elementary, a middle school, and the high school. And that was high school, about 200 to 215 people. So imagine how small our community was. So when things happened, I mean, everybody kind of knew each other already. Like most of the time, especially when I was younger, we knew who each other was. We knew who our neighbors were. Even the neighbors that we didn't really talk to as much, we kind of knew who they were. And the ones that we didn't know, we still would see them, out or whatever, and they were friendly. But nowadays, we weren't like kumbaya with our neighbors or anything like that too much, but some of them were like they would watch us after school. I remember a couple of my neighbors, Mr. Ed and this lady that used to watch us across the street. But I'm trying to figure out what we can do as a community because these kids are getting bad. Like the story that I'm gonna tell y'all tonight, I couldn't even finish watching it. That's how upset I got. And so something has to be done about these kids. They are always fighting. And let me just rewind it. It ain't the kids always. It's the adults too. Like people fighting on cruises. When I go on vacation, I'm on autopilot. I ain't fighting nobody. Now, there was a vacation I went on where I was like, I'm not getting no sleep. I'm upset. I'm tired. Hey, how are you? Thank you for watching. Thank you, everybody, for coming on. Um, but it was crazy because I didn't get a lot of sleep. So I was a little cranky at the end of the trip. And it was a pretty long trip. Pretty long trip. I should have just did a couple of days and came on home for that one. And it was I can't even remember how much the flight was, 15, 16 hours flight. It was pretty long. So anyway, going back to the story that I'm going to tell you guys, because I'm just trying to figure out what what we can do as a community to help these kids. If the adults are fighting, if the adults can't go on a cruise and they can't go on vacation without fighting someone, what the children are just going to fall suit. So with that, trying to get on here to see if anybody has any ideas on how to help out with this generation. So I'll go and I'll tell you guys the video. There was a mom who I believe she was either walking with two of her kids or three of her kids. I believe it was two kids. And like I said, I couldn't even finish the video. But the mom was walking and let's just say she had two of her kids, but the mom was pregnant. And so at the time I was like, oh no, she's pregnant. let's see what happens. But there was a gang of kids following her, which it was very, very sad. And they were talking about her. They were basically talking about her, one of her kids, and they were like following her. And I don't know, because I didn't watch the whole video, I don't know if she was like running back talking to them or whatever she was doing. And she was saying stuff back, but she was also trying to protect her kid as well. So they're just taunting, they're just walking down the street, they just trying to get home. I'm like, lady, please get home, because them kids look like they are terrible, absolutely insane. So she's walking. There is a gang of kids. It had to be 10 or more, probably 15. Gang of kids walking behind this pregnant lady with her two kids. And they're saying, all this crap to her, talking about the son. She's trying to defend him. Finally, she like lays on a gate or something, and she's holding her son, close to her. And he looked like he might have been about 7, maybe 8. I don't know, but they weren't big kids. Now there were some big kids in the crowd that was taunting this family. So she's walking, she's on the gate, she's just trying to protect her son, because I think they started throwing stuff, trying to hit, and she's trying to protect him. Then all of a sudden, they and the video was blurred out a little bit because on YouTube you can't show a lot of that stuff he said. So he had pretty much edited the video. And if y'all can stomach it, I could not watch it. I was furious. But it is on YouTube, I believe. I don't know if it's on TikTok because I'm not really familiar with TikTok, but I know that TikTok will take down certain stuff if it's bullying, if it's violent and all that. So it might not be on TikTok. But if you Google it on YouTube, it's going viral, which that makes me mad too, because then the kids, they were the ones recording it. So anyway, the kids are following the mom. They start talking about her like really bad. And then all of a sudden, somebody throws the first punch and like hits this mom. Um, she's on the ground. And mind you, this woman is pregnant. She is fully pregnant. She's a small, petite woman, but her belly is plump. She has to be, I know, at least 6 to 7 months, if not 8 or 9. Fully plump belly. She falls to the ground. They snatched her hair off. I mean, it was terrible. Absolutely terrible. And so I remember back in the day, like the neighbors that I knew, if I did something wrong, and they knew who I was, like they would tell my dad. And I hated even thinking about doing something wrong. I got into a fight one time. And before I got home, my dad was like, "So what happened today?" I'm like, "Man, people talk too much. God dang." But you know what? For a little while, it kept me in check because I already knew somebody was going to tell on me. They or my dad was going to find out because our neighborhood was too little. So I'm trying to think now, what can we do to help these kids? If the parents are enraged and they're fighting, if the kids are enraged, they're fighting, everybody's fighting. It don't matter what color they are, it don't matter what race they are, it don't matter what they look like, it don't matter their social status. People are fighting. People are angry. What is going on? Does everybody need meds? I think no, everybody just need prayer and Jesus. That's what they need. But we do have to figure something out. So I wanted to get on here and I want to encourage the parents. I know sometimes it's hard to, listen to these stories and things like that. And if your kids are involved in something like this, you're like, well, I didn't raise them this way. But what can we do as a society, as parents, to come together and help these kids to live better, to not want to fight each other all the time? Fighting is terrible, and they get egged on. And what's the biggest problem, I believe, is now they have social media. So everybody, hey, how are you doing? Thank you so much for coming on. Everybody wants to go viral. And I think that's one of the biggest problems. Going viral, getting these likes, becoming a content creator. That's what these kids are looking for. So sometimes I feel like some of these videos shouldn't even be posted because that's what they're looking for. They're looking for that viral. They're looking for that attention. They want that. So, parents, just please encourage your kids to be kind. Encourage them that if somebody is being bullied, that they walk away and go get help. That they don't join in and be doing it too. Because the way that mom got beat down, A pregnant mother with two kids that was walking with her, two small kids, that should not have happened. That shouldn't have happened. Them kids should not have jumped that woman like that. So and then it was in a neighborhood. Like, where were the neighbors? Nobody. I didn't finish watching it, so I don't know if anybody came on or not. I couldn't do it. But parents, please encourage your kids to be kind. If you know some kids that are mean kids, encourage them to be kind. Let's step in, let's help one another, because it's just getting too crazy out there. All right. I'm praying for you guys. I see you guys. I'll be back on tomorrow with another live. I am Regina Long with Not So Perfect Parenting.